The RV Show USA is brought to you by Flagstaff, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
And welcome again, everybody, to the most listened to, most talked about show on radio and social media about the RV lifestyle. I am Alan Warren, the RV Wingman, and glad you are with us. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in on today's show because there's a lot to talk about in this first segment. Try and keep in mind that my objective is to help make you a smarter RVer, because smart RVers make for happy campers. So the RVIA has released their most recent projections for shipments of new RVs in 2020. And you know what? In spite of the coronavirus, shipments will be up like 4.5% from last year. Yep, more evidence that the popularity of RVing is higher than it's ever been before. And if you've been to an RV dealer lately, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think their inventory levels are lower than they probably ever been before as well. So anyway, RVs are selling like nobody's business, but is now the best time ever to buy a new RV, or is it the worst time ever to buy a new RV? Well, you can kind of make a case for both. Let's start out with why it could be the worst time ever. With low inventories at dealers, that means that generally speaking, the pick of the litter is gone. The best of the best RV units that the dealer had in stock, they're already sold. And much of what is left is kind of like showing up at a nice estate sale when all the good stuff has been picked through. Another couple of reasons why now is not a good time to buy: the consumer demand on new RVs has driven the prices up. So even on many less than ideal models, there's not a lot of wiggle room in the price. I guess that's the biggest reason really not to buy right now. But in terms of now being the best time to buy, customer traffic at RV dealerships is slower. In some cases, a whole lot slower than it was even 30 days ago. So you'll likely get a whole lot more of the dealer's attention right now. That means you'll get a better, buying experience in terms of the dealer spending time with you on the walkthrough and that kind of thing. But the biggest reason, I think, to buy now is that life is short. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. A year ago right now, if somebody would have, you couldn't predict, is what I'm saying, a year ago what we've got going on right now. If somebody told you that in just a few months, millions of people are going to be out of a job, millions of businesses are going to close, many permanently, you're going to be required to wear, a face mask. When you go almost anywhere, you probably thought they were crazy, yet here we are. Will things get back to normal in the coming months? Who knows? My guess is probably not. But no matter what the future may hold, for each one of us, we're running out of time. We are. If there's a silver lining to this whole coronavirus thing, it's that families have been pulled together, closer together. Maybe not by their choosing, but most families are closer than they've been in a long, long time, and that's a good thing. And RVing is one of those activities that the whole family can enjoy, and most of them do. Time, it seems, is racing by, and time is one of those things that we can never get back. While I'm a huge believer that love is spelled T-I-M-E, and I think most people would love to RV and camp, I don't want to see unhappy RVers. So taking your time when buying an RV is important. If you're one of those people who are on the fence about buying now or wait until next spring, you should know that there will absolutely be price increases on RVs across the board next year. Some say at least 3%, many say 5% or more. Now, another option for RV buyers to consider is buying a new one right now, or at least placing your order for a new RV right now. Take delivery of it next spring. Many of the dealers I visit with have already hammered out their deals or pricing with the manufacturers for next year's unit, so they know what they can sell you a unit for right now. So you may want to go ahead and sit down with your dealer, order the RV you want. You can put, maybe a $1,000 deposit down right now and then have, like I said, the RV that you want next spring, and it's not a leftover that's been sitting on the dealer's lot for many, many months. So is now the best time ever or the worst time ever to buy an RV? Well, the answer is, it kind of depends. Before we move on, I will tell you this, that for most people, your first RV is going to be magical. It's not going to be just a place to sleep. It's going to be a place where experiences are made and a place where memories are made. It'll be a place where you and your family will be able to look back and make memories. Remember when you were unplugged to technology and plugged into nature and to each other. And RVing, of course, it does come with a price. Sometimes it can be a pain in the butt. It can be. But the good, the meaningful, the memories far outweigh the bad. Hey, speaking of bad, really bad, is what can happen when you're not paying attention and you're towing your RV. You see, there's this bridge in Durham, North Carolina that has become, well, it's become quite famous. It may be infamous is a better way of saying it. And it's known as the can opener. Now, this bridge it's a low clearance bridge. It's like 12 foot 4 inches above the road below. And maybe 100 to 150 feet before the bridge is a traffic light. Now, there's signs on the bridge that says 12 foot 4 inches, low clearance. You know, I mean, who could miss it, right? So this dude's driving along, minding his own business, towing a big old fifth wheel, get ready to go through the can opener. Light turns to yellow. Well, he's going too fast to stop. He knows it's going to turn. It turns red. So what's he do? He floorboards it. Everything's great. Well, it's great until he hits the can opener. Actually, the can opener decapitated the 2 AC units on the top of the RV, and the video is painful to watch. But it turns out that the can opener, it claims about 1 RV a month. Yeah. Either this RVer wasn't paying enough attention to the low clearance signs ahead, or maybe he just thought if he went fast enough, he can, slide right through. Anyway, the big takeaway is that this driver had no idea what he was in for until just seconds before he hit the can opener. No idea. Another example of the importance of asking yourself, what am I not seeing? What am I not thinking about? What am I not paying attention to? It's my guess that this guy was probably no different from the other 157 victims of the can opener. He was simply on autopilot. Believe it or not, this kind of thing happens more often than you may think. It happened again this past week. Yes, it did in Ohio when an RVer towing his titanium fifth wheel went up against another low clearance bridge. Who do you think won? It was a sensational crash. It really was. The only fatality was the titanium fifth wheel, which pretty much, I think, died instantly. Anybody would see that. Now, both of these crashes could have been avoided if the RVers would have had more situational awareness. Driving and towing an RV is not hard to do. It's not. But the approach on how you drive an RV is a lot different than how you drive your daily driver, as they say. So if you don't know the exact height of your rig, take a few minutes and figure it out. Climb up on the roof. It's actually pretty much a 2-person job. Write down your height and put a little on a sticky pad on your dashboard. You may even want to get yourself a GPS, an RV GPS, a truck driver GPS. It'll let you know the height of upcoming overpasses, and then will redirect you around areas that could be prone for a nasty can opener just ahead. It's been a few weeks since I mentioned that our weekly live streams we do every Wednesday evening, that we do them on both Facebook and on YouTube. We have a lot of fun with a different version of the RV Show USA. We also have a cash prize every week of up to $1,000 we try and give away to one lucky person who's catching the live stream. So if you would like to receive a text notification on your cell phone when the live stream begins, pick up your cell phone. All you got to do is text the word Wingman to 38470. Wingman to 38470. You'll get a quick reminder text every time we start up a new live stream. And as a reminder to be very cautious when purchasing a used RV, especially from an individual. Reports continue to come in from people who are buying used RVs online, or they think they're going to be buying a used RV online, on Craigslist, but more so, I think, recently on Facebook Marketplace. Anyway, the scam, it's almost always the same. You see a nice RV advertised on Marketplace for a great price. Now, it's not a real steal, but almost a really good price. There's always a really good reason, too, the person is selling it. They've been transferred or it belonged to their parents, and their parents have passed away. But one scam I heard, it was, here's the way it worked. No matter who contacted the seller, no matter who contacted him, the seller would always say, I'm sorry, the thing is already sold. The scammer would tell them, I'm sorry, it's sold. I'm expecting to receive a deposit at any time. However, if the deposit doesn't come in, I will get right back with you. Just enough of a tease, and you guessed it, later that day. The following day, maybe at the latest, the scammer lets you know that the RV is now, well, it's now available because the deposit never came through. The hope, of course, from the scammer side is that you'll think that this is your chance to steal an RV. If you're buying one online, don't ever, ever, ever wire money until you have laid your eyes on it to make sure it's 100% legit. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman, and this is the RV Show USA. We'll be right back.